Welcome to ANN. I'm Ren Butler, and I'm going to talk about the astrological chart, the horoscope of Taylor Swift. This is a little bit deeper layer of astrology than many of you might be familiar with. I will talk briefly about her sun, moon, and rising sign, but the core of astrology is looking at alignments between the planets. That gives a lot more detailed, personalized information, and I'll be looking at some of Taylor Swift's major aspects. So this is from Wikipedia. One of the world's best-selling musicians with 200 million records sold, Swift has been honored as the Global Recording Artist of the Year 3 times by the International Federation of the Phonographic Industry. She is the highest-grossing female touring act of all time, the most streamed woman on Spotify and Apple Music, and the first billionaire with music as the main source of income. The 2023 Time Person of the Year, Swift has appeared on lists such as Rolling Stone's 100 Greatest Songwriters of All Time, Billboard's Greatest of All Time Artists, and the World's 100 Most Powerful Women by Forbes. Her accolades include 12 Grammy Awards, 1 Primetime Emmy Award, 40 American Music Awards, 40 Billboard Music Awards, and 23 MTV Video Music Awards. Swift is a philanthropist and an advocate for artists' rights and women's empowerment. Some of the songs I'll be looking at here are... So she's Sun in Sagittarius, like Billie Eilish, very interesting. A bright energy, very fiery, enthusiastic, idealistic, questing, some of the positive qualities of Sagittarius, freedom seeking. She also has moon in Cancer. Her moon, the constellation Cancer, was technically the backdrop of her moon when she was born. She has an inner soft core, vulnerability, kind and caring nature, very common with moon in Cancer. Sun in Sagittarius is basically a person's sign. When people talk about what's your sign, that's their sun sign. And so she was born at that time of year in the fall where the sun is in Sagittarius. And then Scorpio rising, deeply passionate, sexually expressive, volatility you can see in some of her videos as well. Now, she was born during this great Uranus-Neptune conjunction of 1985 to 2001. She was born kind of at the early end of it. And Uranus-Neptune, this was a period when special effects became extremely well developed. People could make the kind of videos they really wanted with zany, wacky cartoons and juxtapositions of vignettes and so on. She certainly has a zany and wacky sense of fun. There's a seamless merging of vignettes in her videos, an irrepressible, imaginative outpouring. And she obviously has a very good team of people working with her, but a lot of this must be coming from her as well. So she was born with moon opposition Uranus, 180 degrees when she was born. And this Rick Tarnas, the author of Cosmos and Psyche, noted often corresponds to child prodigies, early flowering, early precocious creative gifts. She started writing songs at age 12. Her early idols were Shania Twain and the Chicks, who were the Dixie Chicks at that time. And I was very impressed when I saw this because they're two of my absolute favorite acts as well. Really loved them, both of them very much, the Dixie Chicks and Shania Twain. She has a bright and vivacious persona and sort of a classic teen idol quality from that moon Uranus as well, appealing to youthful audiences. Now, this moon conjunct Jupiter, this is a very kind of full-bodied, generous, kind-hearted energy. All the lunar qualities, the yin qualities associated with the moon, are expanded and broadened by Jupiter. The sense of being the girl next door, America's chosen daughter, she has that quality, doesn't she? Now, interesting, in the in the video for Cruel Summer, it's a group of friends celebrating on a beach and at a party, this classic Americana scenes of a community, a group of friends. That's very much resonant with this moon Jupiter. In Love Story, there's a heartfelt homage to her fans. There's lyrics about a classic courtship and a proposal. And it's interesting, Shania Twain also has a moon Jupiter aspect and also was very kind to her fans. She would often have fans up on the stage and let some of the young ones sing and so on. Really capacity to bond with her audiences during concerts. Now, in the video for Anti-Hero, the sort of the negative side of Moon Jupiter, she explores and plays with kind of name dropping, spoiled children, trying to money grubbing for the share of the will. It's a fun video. And then in Me, the video for Me, it's like a European family drama based on the look of European films. Grandly dramatic scene, that's from Jupiter, of street dancing, community bonding. And the heroine responds to a kitten from her amour rather than flowers or a ring, i.e. kind of unspoiled goodness. She more drawn to the life of the kitten rather than the sort of material substitutes of the flowers or the ring. Swift was also born with Jupiter opposition Uranus, 180 degrees there when she was born. This is connected with a feeling of being the golden girl, this super stardom, and she also has Jupiter trine Pluto, with Pluto intensifying her Jupiter here, empowering it. A stupendous star quality, star power, you could say. There's a kind of a quality in her persona of fun public cavorting and celebrating with her football star boyfriend, Travis Kelce. There's sort of this golden girl quality. Her videos have often a bright and vivid quality with many quick and interesting changes, grand, wild drama. There's sort of no hold barred. It's unbridled quality with Jupiter Uranus. In Cruel Summer, there's an exciting breakthrough feeling. And in the video for Me, a sense of all-out celebration and a feeling of rebirth. So that's a really interesting golden girl star power kind of archetype that she has. And this sense of being her own woman, I think she has a lot of freedom, a lot of creative freedom. And, as a songwriter, pretty amazing to be able to write something in the privacy of your own home on a guitar or piano, and then have a team of people that can help create this video, and then it gets out into the public. What a beautiful assembly line of creativity that she has access to. She has Venus semi-sextile Uranus. That's 30 degrees apart. It's just under 3 degrees from exact, so we would consider that in orb in archetypal astrology. Her striking beauty and many interesting costume changes. She's not the only person to do this. Someone like Lady Gaga with Venus Uranus, you can see she loves to experiment with different costumes. But Taylor Swift usually changes her costumes multiple times during concerts, apparently. And she certainly has that kind of sparkling, head-turning kind of beauty that's related to Venus Uranus. In the video of Me, we can see bright rebirth colors, a rainbow. The Uranus archetype is connected with feelings of rebirth and emancipation, of breakthroughs after a period of struggle. The combination with Venus Aphrodite, adds the element of color, brilliant rebirth motifs. Rainbows are often peacock spectra patterns that can appear in people's healing sessions. And she certainly has access to this through her videos. Now, possibly the most challenging aspect in Taylor Swift's chart is this Saturn-Neptune conjunction. We were talking about this earlier in the class. And this is the next Saturn Neptune conjunction, I believe, after the early 1950s, if I'm not mistaken. So themes of betrayal. Remember, Saturn Neptune can be about the loss of the womb. The intrauterine state can be experienced as heaven or paradise in a good womb situation. It's connected with Neptune. And then the onset of labor, the water breaks, the cervix is still closed, but there's a compression of the uterine walls. And this is experienced as a kind of onset of hell, when people relive their births. And so Saturn, there can be a sense of betrayal, of loss of innocence. In anti-hero, there's spooky visitations. There can be a kind of a nightmarish quality with Saturn, Neptune at times. But as we've talked about, it's also very grounding, humbling, salt of the earth. She would probably be a bit more of a prima donna, and would exhibit inflation much more if she didn't have this Saturn Neptune aspect. And then in All Too Well, there's a kind of a sad lyric. I know it's long gone and that magic's not here no more. This is one of the major themes in her songwriting, is the end of a relationship, a bad breakup. And we don't know if she's had traumas in her infancy or childhood, but even if not, the imprint of the loss of the womb with the onset of labor contractions can create this sense of having had a connection with the divine consciousness and then lost it. Of course, this loss of the womb in the beginning of labor is a subset of a miraculous process of birth. And as the fetus is pressed through the narrow birth canal and then crowns and then comes into the delivery room, reconnects with the mother, and other kind people in the delivery room, then the whole loss of the womb is suddenly seen as necessary in the service of this miraculous process of birth. So Mars conjunct Pluto here. This is interesting, and I just watched this video today. In the video for Blank Space, which is quite a good one. I think it's one of her more popular videos. She goes on a jealous, destructive rampage. It's a very passionate love affair she has with this sort of bad boy. Pluto can be connected with that. And then halfway through, he's texting some other woman, and the second half of the video is her taking revenge on him. She even takes an axe and chops out their names from the tree where she'd carved in their names in a heart. Destroys his car, his clothes. She cuts them all up. It's probably quite fun for people to watch this kind of a video. And then Jupiter trine Pluto. Pluto intensifies the Jupiter archetype, which is connected with success and striving for success and growth, expansion. This stupendous success that she has had, a sense of stature and empowerment. She is certainly one of the reigning queens of pop music. And I guess in terms of statistics, she's at the top. Another reigning queen would be Beyonce, born with Venus, Jupiter, Pluto triple conjunction. So again, that Jupiter, Pluto, that king or queen archetype. Pluto is connected with the Dionysus archetype, who was the Roman god Pan, connected with kind of partying and celebration, wildness, the wildness of nature. There's a line in Blank Space. She says, I can make the bad guys good for a weekend. And it's like she's riding a lion here. The wildness of these guys. She knows they're bad boys, but it's fun for her for a short time to kind of have an affair with them, and she seems completely in control of the situation. So, like in a superheroine kind of way, and I'm sure many, especially of her female fans, really can relate to this and kind of enjoy the identification. So also in this, she digests and processes one bad rich boy, as I talked about, even chopping their names off the tree. And then at the end, she welcomes with a confident smile a new bad rich boy, a new slick uh, rich kid, driving a fancy car, and she looks forward to another cycle. So those are some of my thoughts on Taylor Swift. Any thoughts or comments?
I mean, I've got a question. She's kind of well known for always having a stalker. Um, a friend of mine sold some real estate to her many, many years ago in New York, and she had a whole second level for security to live over her. And she's always living in fear of this stalker. So what would that aspect be? She's always got a different one of some sort, but it's really serious kind of stuff. So what would that kind of be in a chart?
It's the Pluto on the ascendant and conjunct Mars can be like aggressive yang energies right in your face. People are projecting their own unhealed material out onto her in different ways. She could be the fantasy of the mother at the end of the birth process that they're hoping to get, or she's the goddess that's going to help them through the birth canal somehow, or maybe they see her as the femme fatale who's preventing them from being born. There's different layers of possible projections. I mean, she's very beautiful, and she has that kind of girl next door quality of the moon Jupiter, that wholesome quality about her.
Yeah.
And I imagine that just sort of fits into the projections of some really damaged people who think somehow that they're going to improve their situation somehow through interacting with her. Yeah. Any other thoughts? Mom, you enjoy watching her sometimes at the Kansas City games. Has that been a uniformly positive experience?
I was on the Travis Kelce train before I'd ever heard of Taylor Swift. So then seeing her come into visibility and what's all this about was an adjunct to following his work with Patrick Mahomes. So that was my way in. I think she's a phenomenon in the world right now, and so I wanted just to know a bit about her. So what you put together is helpful. So I listened to a bit, and the song that got to me unexpectedly was All Too Well. And I just thought, yeah, if she can get to somebody who's, well past her mid-80s to touch an emotional chord, imagine how influential she is for younger women with less experience and at a different place in their lives. So
that's really interesting.
she did a short 3 or 4 song stint for NPR. You can get it on YouTube, and I liked it because it's just her in a small room talking a little bit, the guitar, piano, and a small audience. You get a sense of, I got a sense of her, not the big performing, theater soft seat situation, but.
And I do admire her empowerment, her ability to write and create and produce. And did anyone see the moment in the Grammys about 5 years ago when she had just got the Grammy and some guy walked up and grabbed the Grammy out of her hand and said, "This belongs to Beyonce"?
Yeah, that was
Kanye West.
Kanye West. Yeah,
Oh,
Kanye West.
Kanye. Yeah, Kanye grabbed it. He's like, that was ballsy, but
That was one of the more outrageous moments. He comes out, Beyonce's, and Beyonce's great. I mean, they should have given out 2 awards that year. I mean, that's kind of a shame somebody has to lose on that level. But so then he's gone in on the Trump side, right? he went down to Mar-a-Lago apparently and had a meeting, and I don't think Trump was too happy because Kanye West apparently suggested that he run for president and Trump could be vice president. So there you go. So that didn't quite fit in.
Ren, she just got, so they say, she just got Kanye West kicked out of the football game. He hired a private booth in front of her, and it's like her power has now come over. She used her own personal power over him. Could be the Pluto Venus she's got going on. And she sort of finally got her own back, as in all these, because he's done a few other things to her as well.
Yeah, interesting. And most of you probably heard that she recommended to her fans maybe 6 years ago or something, that they registered to vote. And there was a huge influx of young voter registrations. And so she certainly has cultural power and influence. And she supported Biden in the last election, and said she wanted to be on the right side of history, even though half of her fans are Republicans, identify as Republicans, half Democrats. She said she wants to be on the right side of history. So I really admire that. I think she's making the right decision, and I hope she will endorse Biden for this coming election. You know, they've already tried to do an advanced conspiracy to undercut her influence by saying that the NFL allowed Kansas City to win so that there could be this great fairy tale victory with her boyfriend and her, and then she could endorse Biden. So it's like what people can be brainwashed to believe is truly astounding.
Another aspect of her public persona is the way she uses her billions. For a woman who has the amount of disposable income that she does, and this is the kind of thing a person could research if it interested you at all. You know, things like in the cities where she performs, she supports the food bank with, like, we're talking thousands. And economies are changed when she's performing in a city. It's like an economic factor. And of course, standing up for women's rights, as well as being on the right side of history politically. So irregardless of, you know, how good her guitar playing is, somebody who's in the public eye, who uses her influence for good, that gets my respect.
Oh, well, thank you for sharing.
Doesn't that also represent Pluto represent the legal, like the kind of the legal side of the actions that she takes? I mean, she doesn't mess around when it's really important. Like she'll just go at it legally. Like isn't she the one who sued somebody for $1 in one, like, but she, like, so she went through all kinds of money on lawyers and everything to prove a point, but she was doing it because people in lesser positions would never be able to do that. Like, so she didn't do it for the money or any, you know, she did it to prove a point. Like,
yeah. Well, she certainly got a toughness, and it must be a real hassle though to have to deal with this kind of energy coming at you. Yeah. Yeah. Any other thoughts? So anyways, thanks a lot. And thanks for letting me presenting that. And I will see you next week.